Okay, we are done with the priority. Next thing is like invocation count, right? What the invocation count does. Okay, we'll just see now. Invocation count is nothing but like if you have a test case, other test is nothing but your actual test case, right? Test case, you want to execute that particular test case for particular count value. Okay, particular number of time. Like if I want to execute my test case 5 times, I can give the invocation count equal to 5. That will execute that many times. Okay, then what, like how it does and all, we'll see now. Okay, just I'll create my test case. Okay, I have created my test case. Okay, now I'll create one at the rate test. Okay, at the rate test equal to, I'll create one in public void, just I'll get invocation method. Okay, I have given one method. Simply I have given the name it as invocation. Okay, system dot out, this is my test. Okay, I've given. Now I have my like one more test case, that is invocation method 2. This is my test 2. Okay, just think like I have test cases. Okay, now what I want to do is, I know this test case 2, due to some reason or due to some failure, because that would be required in future, I want to execute this thing for so many times. So inside the test tag, invocation count I have. Okay, invocation count equal to, I'll execute 5 times. Okay, just now see like how it executes. Okay, run as TestNG test. Okay, now see, this is my test, it executed 1 time. When you see the report also, there is like test run 6, because I have given this as 5 and this is one test case, total 6. So what it does is, particular test case like test 2, right? This test 2, right? That means this invocation count method, it will execute 5 times. So how much ever you give the invocation count, it will execute so many times. This is all about the invocation count. Okay, all that. To enable disable, so priority was, it was taking the integer value. When we come for invocation count, it used to take integer value, right? Number 1 2 3 4, those are integer. Next is enable. What is enabled and tag, and how does it work? Okay, just I'll tell you in this. Okay, so when I come to this enable equal to true or false, boolean is nothing but true or false, right? Enable equal to true or false. Enable is means what? So just think now, in this test case I had my few test cases, right? I'll just create one class for enable test. Okay, how this enable tags works, I just wanted to show you guys like clearly. Then it will just again at the rate test, right? At the rate test, public void test1. I'll just create it as test1. Okay, test1. Then I'll get system dot out println equal to test1. Okay, in the same way I'll create 2 or 3 more methods. Okay, here I'll give it as test2, test2, test3, test3. Sorry, 4 it is, right? Says 4. I've created my 4 test cases, right? Now I just want to give the enable tag. I can give in any front of any test tag, I can give it, right? Enable, enabled equal to what it is returning, boolean value, right? I'll just give it as enabled equal to false. I can make it false or true. Now just see the output and you'll understand, okay, what it does. See here, I had 4 test cases, right? It ran only 3, and I have made enabled equal to false. The third test case, it will not. A test case 2, it will test case second. I had made it false, right? So it will not execute that test case. Means you have enabled equal to true. If I make it now, okay, it will execute. When I make enable equal to is it enabled or not? Enable equal to false. If I make, it will not execute that particular test case. This is all about the enable. Okay. Okay. Then when we come to next topic, that is like uh, expected exception. Okay, how this is expected exception works, just we'll see. Okay, I'll create one more class, that is uh, expected exception test. Okay, I'll do one thing. I have given the class as expected exception test. Okay. Now I'll just create that class. I have created the class. I'll just create again here at the rate test. I'll create 4 test cases. Okay. Public void, public void exception test 1. Okay. I've created my method. Okay. System dot out println test 1. Okay, in the same way I'll create like 2 more test cases. Then it was 2, then it was 2, then it is 3. Okay, I have my 3 test cases. Okay, now it is done. Are we done? Now what happens is, for example, just see that test case 2, int I divided by 10, int I equal to 1 divided by 10. Okay, can we divide 1 by 10? That will not be a valid one, right? See, now if I just run this, what it will get? See, it is telling ran 3. 1 by 10 anyways we can do. 1 by 0 I'll do. Okay, 1 by 0, and just see, 1 by 0 we cannot divide, right? So you'll give, I ran 3 test cases. In that, 1 test case was fail, it is telling. Now where it is fail, we will see. Arithmetic exception by 0. So you cannot divide the element by any number by 0, right? So it is a arithmetic exception. So I'm telling now, if I get this exception now, for example, just for time being, I'm giving arithmetic exception. In future, the exception can be any exception. So I want to tell expected exceptions equal to arithmetic exception. Okay, I'm just giving, see the syntax, I'm telling expected exception, we'll get the arithmetic exception if you divide by 1 by 0, we know, right? So I'm giving expected exception arithmetic exception dot class. So what it does is, if you find this exception also, just ignore, don't fail my test case. Now if I was not declaring that, it was failing one, right? Now I have told my like test case, I'm expecting anyways this arithmetic exception, okay, which we were getting here, see, when we were dividing 1 by 0. If you get this expected exception also, like, please ignore, I'm telling my test case. See now what it does with after giving this. Okay, See, it is declaring. See, now run 3, fail 0. Okay, here it will be now pass, pass, pass. Understood? When I'm telling like explicitly particular exception, it'll ignore that exception. Okay, done. This is all about the expected exception. Now, next topic is depends on method, right? Depends on method. Okay, we'll see that thing in the next step. We'll just wind it up this thing here. So far, what all we learned is, so far we learned like how priorities work, how without priority tag works, and how what invocation count does, and what enable test and like disable it does, like, right, and what expected exception it does. All 4 methods we saw. Okay, just remember all this. This is very important with respect to your real time work when you start doing, also with respect to your like interview perspective. Okay.